This is Couples Court with the Cutlers.
This is the case of Webster versus Webster. You all have been married together for 10 years. Why have you brought your husband to our court today, Ms. Webster?
I brought David to court today because I truly believe that he has been cheating on me. He has an obsession with his phone. He takes his phone everywhere with him. He sleeps with it. He is always on it.
Wow.
He started coming home late from work.
So, Ms. Webster, you are seeing what I would call the classic signs of somebody potentially cheating.
Yes.
All right. Mr. Webster, why are you here?
Obviously, I'm here because she thinks I'm cheating, and I'm not. I mean, it's ridiculous. She's the only one I've been with since we met.
You say you haven't been with anyone since you met. How did you meet?
We met through work. Dave was actually the manager to the job that I found, and we started working there, and then as with working together, we started talking, hanging out. I was a single mother, he was a single father. We were both focused on our kids at that point in our life, and having friends was fine, but we weren't looking for a relationship.
She wasn't looking for a relationship. I pursued her.
David is very charismatic, he's very charming, he's handsome.
And you say you just woke up and said, oh my goodness, he's the one.
Well, we were laying in bed one night, we were sleeping, and I was watching him sleep, and I just realized that, oh my God, I can't live without this man. I want him in my life always.
Wow.
That's powerful.
All right.
That's powerful.
Did you know it fell out like that? Did it happen that way?
No.
What do you think when you hear something like that?
You know, all what she just said was all good. But I don't know what happened to that.
But it was there at one point, right?
Yeah.
Now, what did you like about her?
She's beautiful. She's smart. She's a go-getter. I couldn't pass that up. I had to go get it.
You liked her because she was a go-getter and you had to go get it.
That's right.
All right.
And I got it.
I ain't mad at you. I ain't mad at you.
So what brings you to court today?
When we first started dating, we were having amazing sex all the time. And I know after a while, your sex life goes down once you've been together for a while, but it should not die completely.
Why else do you believe it's cheating?
When the allegations first started, it was because Dave came home and his breath smelled like a woman's private parts. And I asked him, he walked in the kitchen up to me, and I asked him, I said, if I don't know better, I would say your breath smells like a woman's private part.
I'm a chef. I cook.
He says, oh no, there's a new fish at work, and we all tried it. Let me go brush my teeth. So he went to the bathroom and brushed his teeth.
Wow.
Okay.
All right.
You didn't believe that?
No.
That's an insult, if you ask me.
What is it that you do for a living?
I am a chef, and during that day, you know, I prepare fish, different types of food, and I eat and I taste. You know, I didn't have time to brush my teeth. I came straight home.
What kind of fish was that?
Tilapia.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, you and I have had tilapia.
I've had tilapia.
I have never had that occurrence.
I think he's talking about a different catch of the day, and I think that's the problem.
All right.
So you deny that you were with another woman?
Yeah, I haven't been with no one.
Are there any other reasons that you believe your husband is cheating?
We went out for our anniversary last year. I noticed that there's something odd with the waitress and my husband because we went to the restaurant where he works. I asked him about it. He says, oh, it's nothing. You're making a big deal out of nothing.
When you say something odd, what did you see?
Just their eye contact and...
Whose eye contact?
Him and the waitress.
Okay.
So I asked him about it. He says it's nothing. I'm blowing it out of proportion. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to have a conversation with my husband. It's our anniversary. I'm trying to enjoy his company. I notice he's looking over. So I look over. I don't care what
Mr.
Webster,
She's
Mr. Webster,
looking at our table. So then I asked him about that. Again, he don't know. Nothing ever happened. He don't know what I'm talking about. She just looking around. He just looking around. So I decided I'm gonna get deeper into this. I applied for the job. I started working there with them.
You started working there.
Then I started hearing rumors about him having an affair with this coworker.
Right.
You start hearing that from other coworkers.
Wait. There is a waitress there that you feel like there's some kind of different eye contact than you normally see between a customer and the waitstaff.
Yes.
You didn't tell us what that was. Were they eyeballing each other? Was she winking at him? What was it?
Well, when she came up to the table, you know the waitress usually stands right in the middle. That way she can talk to both. She kind of stood next to me and was looking at him like, what's good?
So she's looking at him like, why are you bringing her to this place?
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
And you felt that.
Yeah.
And
when
so
I
you
asked him
questioned about it, and he was like, no, there's nothing going on.
Right.
Okay, so you apply for a job. What happened when you start working there?
After I started working there, I started to hear rumors about my husband and this coworker being together.
What are these rumors? What are you hearing?
That they're in a relationship. At one point that she was pregnant, it was supposed to be his baby. That they were meeting up, sleeping together.
You're hearing all this from the coworkers at the job you now work at with your husband.
Well, my husband transferred out of the store after I started working there.
What's your relationship with this coworker?
There is none, just a coworker. That's it. Why would I bring my wife to my place of employment and I'm having an affair?
I don't know. That would be very...
It makes no sense.
Okay, did you ever ask those people that?
When I ask, I get and walk off, or either they say, oh, no, I was talking about something completely different, and they change the story, which I told my husband, but he blows it off because I'm creating the problem. Nobody else involved has any wrongdoing in it. It's all me.
We had confronted this woman face to face.
We who?
My wife and I.
You and your wife confronted this coworker?
Yes, face to face.
What did that look like?
She told my wife that nothing's going on. They call me Uncle David.
How does a rumor get started that you've impregnated a coworker, though?
You need to ask her.
I'm asking you, is your workplace?
I have no idea. I haven't been with nobody.
Did you hear these rumors?
Never. When I confront the coworkers, they have no idea of what she's talking about. None.
Ms. Webster,
The coworker.
Did you ever hear any?
Attention.
Did you ever hear any other rumors about this coworker and your husband?
I've overheard her saying to a different coworker that because they couldn't stay at the house, that he was going to pick her up and they would go behind a retail store.
Okay.
And that they would just hook up in the car.
In a car?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right,
Her car.
No, I just so happened to take his car to church that Sunday. He had my car, but when I got home from church, there was a dent in the back of my car and the paint was scratched off. He told me my car was like that when I bought it.
And it was.
No, it was not.
So how did you get from?
so you think he was having sex on your car?
Because of a dent and paint?
Indented it?
Yes.
Wow, boy.
Was it
Because they are behind the retail store. So apparently you have to put the car somewhere that's a tight spot because his car has a dent and scratches in the same spot.
Now, this is the first I heard of that.
You can see it.
You need to play the lottery. Because the likelihood of that happening in two cars.
But what does
But
the
you know
dent
what?
and the
No,
paint
no, no.
have to do with having sex behind a retail store?
Exactly.
Are you saying that they had sex on that spot in the car?
No, inside the car. But I'm assuming that you have to put if you're behind a retail store, you've got to pie the car so people can't drive past and see you in the car having
so
sex.
you're saying dinner scratches are not from them having sex on the car, but where he parked the cars have been scraped.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, far as I'm concerned, you can clear all of that because I haven't been with no one.
Yes,
Did you
I
have
took the
sex
picture.
with your coworker behind the retail store?
No. Your Honor, I'm too old to be trying to be in a car. The car is small. I mean, I'm not going to take no woman and try to have sex with her in a car
My
behind a
husband asked
convenience
me if
store.
I would be interested in having sex in a car. So you're doing something in the car because we've never slept in the car.
I don't mess with rats. Only a rat would have sex in the car. And plus, I'm too old and too big to be trying to get in your car and have sex.
Did he ask you to have sex in the car? Did he ask you
Yes.
that?
You didn't ask me this past summer if I would be willing to have sex in a car?
No.
Okay.
See, this man,
Okay.
I'm telling you.
And you're saying he did?
Yes, he did.
I'm telling you.
Like he said, he's getting older.
Yeah, I am getting older. Yeah.
So you're saying he asked you, and you're saying you never did that?
Never.
Oh, boy. If you find out that your husband is cheating, What next?
There is no next. I've been with this man for 10 years. We have a family. We're supposed to be committed to each other. We're supposed to be in love.
I thought we were.
I dedicated myself to you for 10 years. So if you out sleeping around, yeah, I'm good.
What if he isn't cheating? Are you gonna have the wherewithal to put all this behind you and move forward? Hold on, are you gonna be able to do that?
Yes. If he wants to work on it and move forward, then I'm willing to do that, as long as he hasn't been sleeping around.
I haven't been sleeping around, but she's not gonna drop this. As soon as I pass this test, she's gonna think I'm gonna go home and start cheating because I done passed this test now.
Well,
That's what's gonna be next, Your Honor.
Mr. Webster, let me ask you this. Are you in this relationship? Are you willing to move forward regardless?
Yes, but I would like for her to get some help. Somebody need to talk to her.
Okay, we put the horse before the cart. I'm asking you.
I think that's
she's
cart before the horse.
What'd I say?
The horse before the cart.
Oh.
Okay.
That's the proper way.
A lot of times the horse does go before the cart. But it's the cart before the horse that's the bad thing.
I want to say thank you, but it hurts me.
All right.
It hurts me to say thank you.
Well, here's what we're going to do.
All right, tell me what we're going to do.
To get to the bottom of this, the court ordered Mr. Webster to undergo a polygraph examination, and we have those results. Ron, would you please escort our polygraph examiner, Mr. Michael Williams, into the courtroom?
Yes, John.
Mr. Williams, how are you today?
Doing fine. How are you, Your Honor?
It's good to see you.
Ma'am.
How are you? So you conducted a polygraph test of Mr. Webster, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you please state your credentials for the court record?
For the last 25 years, I've been in law enforcement as a polygraph examiner. I have over 700 polygraphs to my credit.
So this is something you've spent your life doing?
Yes, ma'am.
And with your polygraphs, there have been people who have gone to jail.
Yes, ma'am.
They've been convicted based on the evidence you've accrued.
That's a fact.
All right. So you asked Mr. Webster, did you have intercourse with another woman in or on your wife's car while parked behind a retail center? What was his response?
Your Honor, he said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
There were no significant responses to this question, which indicated to me he was being truthful.
That's the first smile I have seen. You have a beautiful smile. Yes, you have a beautiful smile.
thank you.
Okay. How you feeling, Mr. Webster?
I'm still upset.
Okay. Next question. You asked Mr. Webster, the day you came home and Mrs. Webster said your breath smelled like a woman's private parts, did you have physical sexual contact with another woman that day? What was his response?
He said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was being truthful.
Fear the tilapia is all I gotta say.
Are you still upset, Mr. Webster?
Excuse me?
Are you still upset?
No, but yeah.
No, but yeah.
Cause I done been through a lot.
All right, one question.
You asked Mr. Webster, have you had intercourse with your former coworker during the time you worked at the restaurant? What was his response?
He said no, Your Honor.
What did the lie detector determine?
Well, Your Honor, on this question, the lie detector determined. Well, Your Honor, on this question, the lie detector determined that there were significant physiological responses to this question, indicating deception.
Oh, really? That's not right.
Okay.
That's not right. That's not right.
Mr. Webster, what's going on with you and this coworker?
Nothing.
Something.
Nothing.
A whole lot.
Nothing.
Never cheated. And you lying in my face about it. You
That
couldn't even
test
tell
was
me
wrong.
the truth when I asked you. For months I've been asking
telling you the truth.
And you've been sitting in my face lying.
Really? Really?
Ms. Webster,
Yes.
what's going to happen with your relationship? You've got
There
a
is no
10-year
relationship.
marriage.
I'm cool with it.
There is no relationship.
cool with that.
Yep.
You all have been together 10 years. You're married.
You have children.
How
That clearly don't matter.
Okay. Miss Webster, I hear the passion in his voice. He loves you. And he sincerely, in his mind, doesn't think he's done anything. I can't speak to that. If you value your marriage, I would encourage you to try to work through and try to move forward.
Mr. Webster,
I haven't been interested in no other woman.
You all are together. You proposed marriage, but those wedding plans are on hold because you believe she's cheating. Mr. Stiltner, tell me how you met a woman 2 times your age.
Your Honor, I met her through her son, which was my friend, been my friend through all my childhood.
So you've known her since you were a kid.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
and this is your friend's mother.
Yes, Your Honor.
How did she go from being your friend's mother to your significant other?
When we first got together, which was a couple years ago, she had just had her first surgery. And I didn't recognize her at first. And I looked at her and I thought she was beautiful and she was wild and she was just like one of the guys. And
Now you said surgery. This is weight loss surgery, correct?
yes, Your Honor.
And you like what you saw.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
I sure
Because we
did.
see there's before and there's after.
Wow.
We started out as being friends with benefits.
Okay.
All right.
We started.
But when did you realize you were having sex with your childhood friend's mother?
I realized that from the first day, Your Honor.
Okay. So by that point, you had figured out who she was, but you didn't have any hesitation of sleeping with somebody that has known you since you were a kid.
No, Your Honor.
All right. There it is.
That explains it.
Nope, not at all.
Not at all. Now, Ms. Yates, he said he liked you because you had that certain flow he was looking for. I'm almost afraid to ask the question, but I got to ask it this way.
Go ahead.
What was you liked about someone half your age?
All right, well, at the time when I first got together with him, I wasn't looking to be in a relationship with anybody. So the whole friends with benefits thing, that was my idea totally from jump start. However,
So that was the friends with benefits was working for you.
yes, that's what I really wanted. Ultimately, I did not want to get tied back down. I'm in a moment of self-discovery. I've got a new body, a new face, a new look, a new person inside that I'm trying to discover and find. Which is when he seen me and was like, dang, you know? And I mean, it was like, dang, you know what I mean? Because I know I looked good. I looked different. He didn't know who I was. And, you know, and I was glad that I could hold it down like that, though, because...
So did you know him?
Did I recognize him?
Did you know who he was?
Yes, I did.
Okay,
Yes,
so
I
you
did.
knew who he was.
Yeah.
You enjoyed him
Yeah.
going, woo,
I mean,
woo.
come on, though. I mean, he's cute. He's got his blonde hair, blue eyes, tattooed, nice little body. I mean, you know, I was with a 55-year-old before that. Things happen and then they don't happen. And so, so I left that to keep with the things that keep happening.
Right. So you've been on this end. Now you want to try this end a little bit.
All right, why not? You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Well,
So,
Mr.
I wanted
Stiltner-
to live.
No worries.
Mr. Stiltner, Judge Cutler asked Ms. Yates about that first night, so I guess it's my turn. Did that add some spice to it that you were sleeping with your childhood friend's mother?
Yes, actually.
Well, you, according to Miss Yates, you holding it down as a grown man. So
Well, because I see him sitting next to his mother, and I mean, the look on his face is like this. I don't want to hear this. He's almost doing this. La 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 la. So, which I can understand.
Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear about their mother having sex. I mean, I understand that.
And especially
not with your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I get it. He's just like, ugh. So you all are vibing. You figured it out. You're friends with benefits. Where did this go wrong? Why are you here?
Well, Your Honor, I'm here because I believe that she is cheating on me. I'm almost certain that she's cheating on me.
Okay. Why are you certain?
Due to the fact that out of the blue, that her son's father called her out of random after 20 whole years of being out of their lives. And he calls her and started talking to her. And then all of a sudden, she was so quick to get up and go get him. It upsets me so bad because he just don't have it like I do anymore. One thing, she's my woman. She's my girl. And she ain't gonna run off across the country.
If I may.
We want
All
you
right.
to.
I get this phone call randomly. He needed to meet his father, who said they needed help. And I said, okay, I'm going to be that person because I am that person. And we picked him up. We brought him back, and I said, you can stay for a while. And
So
now he's been there.
Stay,
Go ahead, love.
stay with you in your house with Mr. Stiltner,
Yes.
okay?
Now.
And Mr. Stiltner, you didn't like that.
No, Your Honor, I totally despise that to the fullest. But he does have a right to see his father, and he does need to get to know him. But that gives her no excuse to bring this man back into this house and throw me out.
When she goes and gets her ex and brings him back to your house,
Yes.
you get kicked out.
Yes.
And the ex is who you believe she's sleeping with?
Yes.
Now, I did not plan to cheat on him. I did not plan to even break up with him. I didn't plan for any of that to happen. I did break up with Brandon because I thought, well, what if? You know what I'm saying? So it didn't work out, though. I didn't want to be with him. He is not the same person. I'm not the same person. He is not what I want. I found that out very quickly. And when I realized that, I went back to Brandon and I said, hey, I made a mistake. I was wrong. If you'll have me back, I want you back. I want to be in your life. I do love you.
So you all get back together.
Yes, Your Honor. The ex is gone.
And you move back in the house.
Yes,
and the
Your Honor.
ex moves out, correct?
He's still there.
What?
He is still there.
So
Yes.
you're in the home with your ex and your boyfriend?
Yes.
Y'all are living together.
Yes.
All three of you all are in
Yes.
the same house.
Yes.
Your boyfriend, you, and your ex.
Yes.
How is that working for you, Mr. Stiltner?
It is not working at all, Your
I
Honor.
bet it
I
is.
say he needs to bounce. I tell her she's beautiful every day.
So, Mr. Stiltner, she took you back, you were back together, but you still think that she is sleeping with him.
Yes.
Why?
Because she just started randomly disappearing and tell everybody that she left or she's not here when they all knew that she was up in that guy's room. Locked, doors locked, phone off.
So when she's telling people she's not home, she's in fact in his room, doors locked, curtains shut.
Yes. And she thinks I'm stupid. One night, I walked up there. She's been gone for hours. I don't even know where she's been. The lock on the door was busted. So I slid the door right open, and I busted her in there, laying all up on him, cuddling. I was like, no.
And you saw this with your own eyes.
Yes.
Did this happen to Jay? He walked in on you?
You know, I'm really trying to recall this, and, at my age, getting older and all, you would think, that whole senile thing.
Did you do that?
No, not that I can recall.
Have you slept with your ex since you got back with Mr. Steltner?
I know. Come on, let's just keep that real.
So, Mr. Stiltner, have you found anything else to make you believe that she's cheating?
Yes, Your Honor, I have. I walk down into her room, and I see these basketball shorts laying on the floor in like a slobbish fashion, like if they were taken off or thrown or just dropped off, their waist. And the reason why I think those shorts belong to this man was because when I first walked up to his room, when he moved in, I saw these shorts clear as day. They were gold and blue in his bag of clothes. No, it'd be too small for her son, and it'd be too big for me. But no, just right size for him.
All right. And so you found these shorts in her bedroom?
Yes.
Those could have been his shorts. Those could have been his shorts. Obviously, they weren't his shorts.
But he's testified that he saw those shorts before, and he knows whose they are.
It could have been anybody's shorts up in there.
Look, I can tell you what, if a man sees another man's shorts in his girlfriend's bedroom, he's going to remember that. He might not remember a lot of stuff. He might not remember where he left his keys. He might not remember where his wallet is. He is going to remember seeing another man's shorts in his girlfriend's bedroom.
Ms. Yates, I'd like to hear from your witness. Would you step to the podium? This is your son, correct, Ms. Yates?
Yes, ma'am.
Would you state your name for the record?
It's Michael Yates, Your Honor.
All right. You and Brandon were friends growing up?
Yeah.
All right. And how did you find out that your mom was dating your friend?
Well, actually, me and my mom's been sharing a room for the past several years.
So you knew early on?
So I kind of just walked in and found out.
You walked in on your mother and your friend in the bedroom?
Yes.
Oh, boy.
What happened?
Nothing really happened. I just turned around, walked back out, and I come back later and sat down and talked to my mom and Brandon about it, and...
You sat down with your mother and your friend.
Yes.
After you walked in on them in bed. That had to be an awkward situation.
It was pretty awkward, Your Honor.
What was that conversation like?
I basically just told him that you need a chair, right? That, and I'm not gonna call him daddy.
You're not gonna call him daddy?
Nope.
You're not gonna call your mother's boyfriend, who's your friend, daddy? All right, that's fair. I think that's fair. So how do you feel about their relationship?
To be honest, Your Honor, I think that Brandon is a little too immature for my mom.
Okay.
I just think that they shouldn't be together anymore.
Do you think it's some kind of spark between Miss Yates and your dad?
Now, I know my dad does have feelings for my mom still.
All right, thank you so much for your testimony.
Your Honor,
I would like to say something.
Sure.
This is actually none of his business. I don't know why he's stepping into this. This is between me and her. We've been together for a long time, good enough to where, you know, I can hold my own on our problems.
Well, Mr. Stilton, let me tell you this. He walked in on his mother with his childhood friend. So, yeah, it kind of is his business.
Yeah. And see, I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, and this is my son. This is my son. Everything is his business. I hold him down on a daily, and he holds me down. And at the end of the day, whether you're my man or not, he will always be my man in my life.
All right.
It is his business.
Well, I think we've heard enough evidence. And here's what it looks like from our perspective. Mr. Stiltner, you say that her ex recently moved in and kicked you to the curb, and you believe they were in a relationship. You found basketball shorts in her bedroom, and that leads you to believe that they were left there by the ex because you saw him in possession of those shorts previously, and you walked in on her and her ex cuddling during the time he was living there in his bed. And if you find out that she's cheating, you're done.
Yes, Your Honor. She is so disrespectful to me for that, and she's so dishonorable, and she should be like on her knees, kissing the ground I walk. Because I am young, I'm full of life. I want to live a very long time if I'm lucky. And I tell you what, at least every morning I wake up, I can still get that morning wood.
All right. Let me get it together. This court has done a complete investigation. At this time, the court would like to call certified polygraph examiner Michael Williams to the courtroom to see, is she cheating? Ron, please report it here. How are you, Mr. Williams?
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
You conducted a polygraph examination of Miss Yates, is that correct?
That's correct.
Ms. Yates was asked, other than the one time you admitted to having sex with your ex, have you had sexual intercourse with him since then? What was her response to that question?
Your Honor, she said no.
What did the lie detector determine?
On this particular question, the lie detector determined she was being truthful.
Mr. Stiltner, you are getting facts that she has not cheated. How are you feeling at this point?
Utterly surprised, Your Honor.
You're surprised?
Yes, utterly surprised.
Well, we have one more question. Ms. Yates was asked, other than your admission of being with your ex, have you had sexual intercourse with any man other than your boyfriend, Mr. Stiltner? What was her response to that question?
Your Honor, she said no.
What did the polygraph determine?
On this particular question regarding Mrs. Yates' fidelity, there were significant physiological responses which indicated to me she was being deceptive.
So you're not sleeping with your ex. Who are you sleeping with?
Well, we'll go ahead and cut to the chase, and I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna end a whole bunch of problems for Mr. Stiltner today, okay? I, however, have cheated on Brandon one time a year ago. Nobody knew. I've never seen that man again since. However, I don't want to be with Brandon anymore. I am done playing games with Brandon. Brandon runs around like a 2-year-old that I can't keep up with anymore.
I may be too immature for her, but being with an older lady gave me some experience, and it would be something that a young lady my age would love to have.
You all have been married for 19 years, and I see from the court papers, Mr. Washington, your first name, your given name is President. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. President Washington.
Yes, sir.
Well, whether you continue to be in office as her husband all depends on the outcome of today's proceeding. Am I right, Mrs. Washington?
Yes, you are correct.
Right. You've initiated this case. Tell us why you are here.
Okay. President and I have been married for 19 and a half years, and it's on the line, so I want to make sure and see if we make it to a 20th.
Oh.
Okay.
And the reason being, President has started calling off work or saying he was calling off because he was sick, which is rare, because when I would ask him to take time off of work, it's always, no, I got to go to work. Okay. So, okay, then the spending of money and not paying bills. So while down here, things had got cut off, and I was trying to get to that point of finding out why. And then if I question him about something or even ask a question, he would threaten, like, I'm getting out, I'm moving out, or you can get out. And then I would call him or text him, and my calls weren't as answered as they were previously before. But I wanted to go ahead, and when I saw that he Googled y'all through the investigation, I said, well, let me give him a call and see if they'll have us here so we can clear this up.
So, Mr. Washington, she's got all these red flags going off that indicate that you are cheating. What do you have to say about that?
This woman crazy. Now, she tracked me to, quote unquote, what was supposed to be my ex-girlfriend's house.
Okay.
My idea was, let's go over there. We gets over there and knock on the door. A Mexican lady come to the door.
Was that your girlfriend?
No.
Now, after she finds
So
out...
she's tracked you. She's got you going to this address. Mm-hmm. She takes you over there to try to catch you, and a Hispanic woman answers the door who you've never seen before, who you don't know.
Correct.
And so when she answers the door and there's this woman there who you've never seen before, what does Ms. Washington do?
She was asking about my ex-girlfriend. She comes to find out she didn't stay there. The house was empty for 2.5 years before they moved there. They was there for 3 years. I'm tired of being accused of cheating.
So you've gone through all this because your wife thinks you're cheating.
I'm always being accused of. This is not the first time.
Is that true, Miss Washington?
No, this story right here, no. It goes back to an ex-girlfriend, though, that when I first met Mr. Washington, we met back in '98 through a relative. And after that, we started talking just briefly. Mm-hmm. But then he did have someone, I had just got out of something.
Okay.
So at that time, I kind of didn't want to engage in a relationship, but I didn't mind being friends.
Well, yet you all are married. So what did he do to get you from the friend zone over here to the wife zone?
A dream from my son's father at the time said, give him a chance.
So he literally was the man of your dreams.
No.
Wow.
It came to me in a dream.
I thought I was the only one.
This guy, okay. All right, I'm gonna let you have that one.
You let me have that one?
I'm gonna let you have that one.
But you're here today because you think he's cheating.
Some recent stuff since being here in Georgia, yes. I've noticed him communicating with another person.
Okay.
So I saw that number, I called, and when I called, I had written a script. So in that script, I was like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I'm calling, and if you do this survey, I'm gonna send you a gift card.
And so when you call, who answers, a man or a woman?
A woman.
Okay, so you find this number in this phone, and you're like, I'm gonna call this woman.
Yes.
And I'm gonna call this number.
Yes.
And I've got this script. I'm gonna see what information I can get from.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
Because he was acting suspicious. So when I called, the young lady was giving me all the information. I was going over the questions and the prompts with her, and she was answering them. I had her address. Only thing was, her name didn't sound familiar to anybody I may have known, but I told her if she refers a friend, then the increase on that card would increase for her. So
what kinds of questions were you asking her?
I asked her what was her favorite radio station.
Hey, wait a minute. I have never, in the history of being up here on this bench, we have not had the investigator / telemarketer. This is amazing.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And had a script.
I like to be thorough.
She put her back into this company.
She did.
She was
She
like,
did.
okay, let me see how I'm gonna work. I am
So-
duly impressed.
So, hello, my name is, and then what did you say?
I gave her a name, and then I told her that I was calling to get a survey about her favorite radio station, TV station, whatever, she is into, type of entertainment.
Somebody gonna call you for a job, I'm telling you.
I had it all together. So by the end of our conversation, I asked her would she like to refer a friend to get more. So that hyped her up, and she was like, yeah, and she had a friend, and she named off this friend because when I got to her, I said, well, does she have a number? No, I let her use my phone to make calls out. She usually goes out and calls her men friends from my phone.
Okay.
She didn't have a phone. She lived directly across the street because I had already peeped out the address after I got it. I peeped out the area. And one evening when we were in an argument, I said, well, come on, I got somewhere for you to go. So when we got in the car, I had his 2 pair of pants and 3 shirts in the back. As he always say, when he gets ready to go, I'll take my 3 pair of pants and my 2 shirts with me. So I had it in the back of my SUV, and then we proceed to her house. I get out as he sat in the truck. I go and knock on the door, tell her who I am, because she kind of knew who I was because we all grew up in that same area. So I said, well, can you come out and speak? She came out and spoke. And I said, well, I have his stuff in the car if you would like for him to come down here. Because remember, I'm the wife, so I got your Social Security number, I got things. So I'm going to make it comfortable for wherever you go and lay your head at so you don't have to come back to mine. At that point, she told us that she had a boyfriend. I looked at President again and said, oh, did you know she had a boyfriend? He said, no, I didn't know that. I said, well, girl, why didn't you tell him you had a boyfriend? Because you knew he clearly had a wife.
Now, wait. What did she say?
She said, oh, well, that's all she said. Yeah.
Because there was nothing going on. That was my business partner, and that was it, and that's all.
You didn't feel like you were busted?
Busted for what? Playing cards?
That's your story? That's what
my
you're sticking
story,
to?
and I'm sticking to it.
All right.
I'm going to ride and die with it, and my buddy going to come out here and tell you the same thing. I'm going to ride or die.
All right.
Miss Washington.
Yes.
You said that there were other things that you've seen while you've been taking care of your family member. What else have you seen?
While being here in Georgia, taking care of that relative, I noticed some things that just didn't sit well. I was like, well, 9 hours here? Why is he here for 9 hours? Okay. I didn't say anything at the time to him because I'm like, it's just, one location. But I see everywhere else he's been in that day.
So is he with you at this time?
No, he's back at home. I'm here with the relative.
All right.
So therefore, I'm calling him to let him know this, that, hey, I found this out, or this is what I heard while being away, and I shouldn't hear that. So I'm coming to address it to you. Every time I do, there you go, starting that stuff. I ain't got time for that. Or he'll hang up, wouldn't answer the phone no more. But the most recent one was I saw that it was showing like our house, like he may be here at our house. And then when I could go ahead and see his locations of where he would be at, it would ping into that direction off of a street that's not far from our house. And then when we go into the GPS history, because I did it off of Google Maps, as well as Facebook has a location.
Okay.
And now 2 locations, 2 different things is not gonna tell you a lie.
Okay.
2 different sources.
So your 2 sources told you the same information?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Yes,
How far away is that from your house?
Just a couple of minutes. It's not far at all. You can walk.
Oh, you can walk it?
If you like to walk it. It's not that far.
So you think he's messing with somebody who's pretty close to you?
Yeah, I don't know who it may be or had any inkling because, like I said, I thought we were fine. I didn't know until I found this stuff, and I presented it to him, but it's always an argument when you try to get answers.
How many times has this address come up in your GPS
So far
search?
that some said get up and be nosy, twice that I seen. It could be more, but I only saw those two that stuck out because of the times that they were. The first time was for 9 hours. Then the second time was from 12 midnight to it's time for him to go to work. He went to work from that location.
Oh, right. Mr. Washington, Mr. President Washington. Who are you visiting at that address from 12 midnight till it's time for you to go to work in the morning?
That's a good question.
I ask good questions. That's why I'm up here. I ask good questions.
I can't answer that,
Can you give me a good answer?
I can't answer it. I don't know. You got to ask Miss GPS over here.
No, we asking you.
I don't know.
You don't know who you spending the night with?
Like I say, I want to spend the night with nobody.
Well, why were you at that address from 12 midnight till it's time for you to go to work in the morning?
It was not 12 midnight.
Okay,
My
wait.
little nephew called me. He got a little lawn shop, a little lawn where you go cut grass and stuff. So he asked me to go help him cut that grass.
I have never cut my grass at 12 midnight.
And that's the reason I say I don't know. But when my boy come out here, we gonna have everything
Okay,
straight.
but your wife is convinced that you were in this area at midnight till you went to work with another woman. And if it shows that you were there from midnight to not just one, but 2 different locators said the same thing. So what you doing at midnight over there?
I went over there at midnight.
So you're denying the whole thing?
As far as being over there at midnight, yeah.
And you're telling us that no woman is gonna come in here with a stain on her dress saying she's been with you. Mr. President Washington.
I was just gonna say you talking about chopping down the cherry tree. He went all the way somewhere else.
I ain't worried about it, no. I'm gonna ride and die with it. And my buddy gonna come out here and tell you the same thing. I'm gonna ride or die.
Okay.
Mr. Cutler, here's the evidence we have. Mr. Washington has the GPS locator showing that Mr. Washington is at another home for hours at a time, midnight to 6 a.m. to when he's going to work. And then she tracked down and did the telemarketing trick, which is amazing, and found out that the woman across the street, through her skill sets, is the person he's been playing cards with. And this is all happening while she's away taking care of a family member. And for all these reasons, she believes that Mr. Washington is cheating. And she's like, we're at 19 and a half years. The question is, do we get to 20? And you know when you get to 20, you get platinum. So it's just a lot at risk. It's a lot at risk. Am I right, Ms. Washington?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
And Mr. Washington claims up and down that he has not been doing anything. He's standing there, he's looking very confident, very presidential, very confident, like he hasn't done anything. And he sounds like he's as anxious for the results as she is.
There it is.
There it is. This court has done a full and complete investigation to get to the bottom of this. At this time, the court will call a certified polygraph examiner, Tommy Platt, to determine, is he cheating? Tommy Platt. Good day, Mr. Platt. How are you?
Good, Your Honor. How are you?
Doing good, thank you. You have spent 30 years as a law enforcement officer, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you've also been performing polygraph examinations for 11 years.
Yes, sir.
You've done thousands of polygraph examinations, correct?
Yes, sir.
So you know exactly what you're doing.
I do, Your Honor.
Right. Now, you performed a polygraph examination of Mr. Washington, correct?
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that.
Well, when I began to ask Mr. Washington, or reviewing the questions with Mr. Washington, he stated that him and his wife had multiple threesomes in the past.
Okay.
So I had to change the wording around and preface all the questions with other than what Miss Washington knows about.
Yes.
You asked Mr. Washington, when Miss Washington viewed your cell phone location tracker, which placed you at a house, did you have physical sexual contact with anyone at that location? What was his response to that question?
Your Honor, he stated no.
What did the polygraph determine?
Polygraph determined that he was being truthful.
All right.
You're looking pretty confident, Mr. Washington.
Because I told you, see, she sit up here and try to play Miss Detective, Not on me.
All right, let's see.
But there's still one more question.
One more question. You asked Mr. Washington, since being married to Mrs. Washington, have you had physical sexual contact with anyone other than her? What was his response?
He stated no.
What did the lie detector determine?
The lie detector determined that he was telling the truth.
Mr. Washington.
Could I go shake his hand and give him a thank you?
Oh,
Thank you, sir.
Now, Mr. Washington, you've had your moment. Miss Washington, is there anything you want to say to Mr. Washington?
I would like to. I told him if it comes out the way it comes out, if it comes out that he's telling the truth, I would apologize to him. But I know what I saw and what I read. But hey, if the test says it is, and also that we would need counseling.
All right. Well, Mr. Washington, it's still true. You cannot tell a lie, President Washington.
So we gonna make that 20 or what, Mr. Washington?
Platinum.
Platinum.
I'm putting it
We
out
gonna
there.
make it or what?
Yeah, I got you, babe.
All right. I shouldn't have had to bring you on to find out.
Well, you should believe me sometime.
Hey.